Hi guys, this is Quinn from the Director's Studio. I'm putting together the final edit of this video, signifying our family's gift to you guys at your 65th wedding anniversary. And I was thinking about what I wanted to say. You'll see that I'm absent from a lot of the rest of the video. And when I was really thinking about what stands out to me about my grandparents, Oma and Papa, it's how much they want to pass on. I feel like every conversation I have with Oma and Papa, someone's telling me a story or teaching me a new skill. They're trying to help me make my own mistakes in this world and like help me learn from the things that they've learned from. And I think part of that is a desire to really support their family. And I think a lot of it is also this wanting to be known. And so I hope throughout this video you see that we know you and we see you and we love you. Hello, and welcome to Tedna's 65th wedding anniversary video. The whole family wanted to come together to create this video as a testament to the love and marriage of Ted and Edna, and to show our appreciation for how they've always been a light for our entire family and shown us the meaning of a true and robust marriage. Now, throughout this video, you're going to hear people sharing their memories, their thoughts, and their love for Ted and Edna. And we just want to shine a light again on the generational love that we see throughout this family that they've cultivated. What's your first impression of Grandma and Grandpa Zabel, Ben?
Yeah, my first impression has been how welcoming they've been, telling their stories, and really just having their arms open for me and Quinn and for my first visit. And I've been really lucky to have this experience, and it really matches what I've heard from all of the stories from Quinn about what wonderful people they are.
How has your experience with Tedna's marriage shaped your spiritual vision for partnership?
Maybe I have backwards for this. Well, I think that they are just a wonderful representation of the gospel and the fact that the Lord never gives up on us no matter what the circumstance, and that when you make vows forever. I was actually just sitting with Ted a couple weeks ago, and he looked me in the eyes and said that no matter what their marriage looks like at any point in time, he still sees Edna the same way he saw her on our wedding day. And it actually brought tears to my eyes. I thought it was beautiful. And I think they've really pushed me to look at Olivia always as the girl that I married in the white dress and not just what our life looks like right now. And I think that's been really impactful for me.
The main things that I feel impacted by with respect to Oma and Papa, I'm going to break it down into individuals. I'm going to talk about Oma, and then I'm going to talk about Papa. And there will be three things, so the math will somehow add up. I always look back on how they both humored me with my interests. They very much took they took an interest in like what I liked to do. And I still remember the first time I made pfeffernuts with Oma. Like, I had loved baking, but I had never baked with anyone. And because of that, I developed a lot of bad habits where I would just leave the kitchen as a huge mess. Just, because I didn't know what I was doing. And I remember the first time I'd made pfeffernuts with Oma, she hammered it into my head, like, you need to put the sugar back immediately. Like, you're done with the sugar. And like, we did all this setup, we put in all the spices, we experimented. It wasn't like I felt like I was getting talked down to. It felt like I was working with somebody to make something meaningful and nice, and I still think about that to this day. So thank you, Oma. And Papa, I think that you took an interest in a little bit of my desire to be a little handyman, and all of like the little barn, all of the nature. I still remember like I remember going out into Ogilvy, or it might not have been Ogilvy. We were somewhere in the woods, and we went out and we looked for fossils in the river. And I was super young, so my memory is bad, but I remember that day vividly. And I just remember smiling a lot, and I remember it just being an amazing time. And I'm 21. Like, I'm still super young, but I already feel like I've lived a really important, impactful, meaningful life. And it's because I feel like I have been very privileged and lucky to be surrounded by people who really care about me and really take an interest in me and what I like to do, and support me and let me grow and make mistakes. And it's you two that have been a huge part of that. I'm crying, by the way, but I'm gonna get through this. I really appreciate you both. Like, you have been amazing grandparents. I talk about you to my friends. I always feel really lucky I get to say Oma and Papa, because that's fun, you know? It's like, it's not Grandma and Grandpa, it's Oma and Papa. That has always been a privilege of mine, that I've been surrounded by people who take an interest in me and support me and just let me make mistakes. Let me fall, I will get back up. And it's been you guys. I think that's 3 things. This is a less important thing. This is not as broad sweeping in my life, but also thank you for always bringing me chocolate for Easter. I still think about those big chocolate bunnies. They were really good. So I love you both with all of my heart. I miss you every day. I will forever and always appreciate what you have done for me. It will never leave my heart. I love you both.
What's your favorite musical memory from Grandpa and Grandma Zabel?
I would have to say just growing up, music was such a big part of my life because of them. Obviously music surrounds the Zabel family, and they bring music everywhere they go. Growing up, Grandma taught me piano lessons at that piano right over there that we got from her. Those are such sweet memories to me that I really look back and cherish. Hearing Grandpa sing and encourage us to listen to gospel music has really shaped my faith and who I feel like I have grown up to become. I'm just so grateful to have such amazing grandparents who have built a family of love and just really encouraged music. And then attending Hymns with Edna last year was a super sweet memory. Seeing Grandma play music and just fill the room with her special talent and skill that is so amazing. I'm just so grateful to have the most amazing grandparents, the most loving people. Happy 65th.
When you think about Grandma and Grandpa Zabel, what memories come to mind?
Initially, the first thing I think of is just the fact that they would be here before and after school on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and every other Fridays, alternating with Grandma Greathouse and Grandpa Greathouse. That was a big part of me, Olivia, and Meredith's growing up, just because throughout the week we would see them 3 times a week, both in the morning and in the afternoon. So whether that be Grandma making or bringing smoothies or breakfast, as well as cooking dinner for us after school, that was a big part of our lives and growing up. just all the conversations and things that come with seeing them multiple times per week, along with the sort of smaller conversations that we'd have during those times, driving us to or from school or to or from the bus stop. We're very blessed to have them in our life and that they were always there for us during those times.
Have Grandma and Grandpa Zabel supported you throughout your life?
One of the things that was most impactful for me and how they showed their love is that they always came up to my basketball games, whether it was here in Bellbrook or in an away AAU tournament. That was something that really meant a lot to me, and how they showed up and they just were really invested, and they showed that they cared.
Okay, I'm coming around, 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 coming around.
What do you think a strength of Tedna's marriage is?
Well, I think that Ted and Edna have collaborated very well together in their marriage and as they've led their family. And I think Ted and Edna have been so proud of, I guess, their initials, T-E-A-M. And I can't think of a better family with Ted, Edna, Andy, and Marcy leading the team. Happy 65th anniversary.
Oh, I love that question. I've known of Tedna since I was 13 years old. We talked about them in the high school cafeteria at Salem Academy, and then I got the chance to hang out with Ted in the baseball stands as Andy was on the team, and I was literally bored out of my mind, and Ted would tell me every 7 minutes that it was 7 minutes later, and he patiently laughed with me and entertained me, and we got to know each other then. And then this man, he turns out to be my father-in-law, and he officiates our wedding, and he helps us move into homes and paint and build decks and, you know, build a life really with great support. And as I got to know Edna, as we dated and got married, this woman, she put entire Thanksgiving meals in the back of her car and drove them to us, and then painstakingly taught me how to actually cook them myself so that she could stop doing that at a certain point. She taught us how to garden and create a yard. That was one we wanted to hang out with. She taught me how to decorate my house, you know, and I have a couple of stories that just mean the world to me. One is when my mom, who was living with us in Baltimore at the time, needed eye surgery. And we called Edna and Ted and told them I had just started a new job. We didn't have a way to figure out how to really take care of our family. And Edna got on a plane and she stayed with us for almost a month. She flew home once so she could cook more meals for Ted, but she literally came and lived with us. She helped me take care of my mom. She took care of my kids. She drove them to and from school. It was the kindest gesture a mother-in-law could ever make towards a daughter-in-law, and to my mother-in-law, her co-mother-in-law, who she befriended and literally called regularly, and just meant so much to me. So the other thing I'm going to point out is that Ted not only married us, he helped me bury my father. He not only married us, he and Edna were part of burying my mother just recently. And it's a blended family at this point, right? In the sense of they brought me in, they cared for my mom, they cared for me, and they have just been loving and kind the whole way. And I just need to say, happy 65th. Andy and I are going to get there too, guys. We're going to get there too. So thank you for the example you've set. Love you.
Hey, I didn't know you were home. What's that? Oh, what an interesting question. I can think of 3 things right off the top of my head. The first way that my parents have been impactful upon my life was to give me the travel bug and to help me see beyond my immediate boundaries growing up. And when I was a student at Hayesville Elementary, most of the kids had never even left the state. And I felt really privileged that my parents took me well outside of my boundaries and showed me a lot of things that I think back now were really special. I can remember the first time I saw the Statue of Liberty in New York Harbor, and the first time I saw the Capitol in Washington, D.C., and went to the Museum of Natural History at the Smithsonian and saw dinosaurs. And, went to Boston, and I'd read about Boston in the book Johnny Tremain, but actually got to walk along and see the historical things that were there, and it just opened my eyes and shook me to think beyond my boundaries. And later on, there was a trip to Alaska where we partnered up with Aunt Ruth and Uncle Herman and my cousins, and we went up the Yukon Highway in a motorhome. And I can remember panning for, not gold, I was panning for jade in the rivers with my little pan. And there's a famous story of me catching a fish up there too. I will spare you that story. And even later, there was a trip to Europe where we went to Germany and Switzerland and France. And, my eyes were open to the possibilities of the world. And I like to think that I've been becoming a citizen of the world. And my parents absolutely put me on that path. And I've tried to help my kids get on that path as well. And I just, they set such a good precedent. The second way that I think they've been really impactful for me growing up was their love of music. And they've definitely instilled that in me, and I love all forms of music, but I know I got it from them. And I know that my mother's family has a deep history of Mennonite hymn singing, and my mother is such an accomplished instrumentalist. And my father's family, I see these great old photos of them playing these instruments in the early 1900s, and it just sparks my imagination. And I am the #1 fan of the Singing Pastors. I don't think it's even close. I mean, I was there for the original concerts and the recordings, when they were on cassette, when they were on 8-track. I've been on tour with them. I know all their songs. My kids and I made a video about them. And they have instilled upon me a love for gospel music and a love for music in general. And that absolutely comes from them. And I've broadened out beyond gospel music in my appreciation of things, but it entirely comes from them. And the third thing I would say about them is that I think they've been super instrumental in instilling the values in me that I still try and aspire to live by, and values that have shaped my career and just my life in general, and where I live and how I try and aspire to behave in modern life. And my dad was so creative in the way that he talked about values. Family was always important. Family is very important to my parents and my family, beginning with the original team and expanding into a much larger network of amazing people and children and relatives and in-laws. And they instilled upon me a love for family. And I know I've tried to live by that, and I hope that that's how I've behaved in my own family. My dad came up with the Ground the Family Week and the Family Heritage Game and the TV screener and the value viewer and the list of really creative applications goes on and on. And both my parents have been and continue to be very accepting and have been important teachers to me. And when I've made mistakes, they haven't always been huge, thankfully, but I can remember, one time I had a ball in the house from Radio Shack. Goes way back. People won't know what that is, but I just had a blow up beach ball and I was kicking it in the house, and my mom said, "Stop doing that. You're going to break something." And I kept kicking it, and of course it hit this little glass dish and it fell off the shelf and it broke. And I was just horrified. And my mom was so loving and supportive and just really wanted me to understand that I could learn from this and that I should be careful moving forward. And I remember when my dad was teaching me to drive, maybe it was the first lesson, it might have been the second lesson, but I remember I crashed the pickup on one of our driving lessons, and my dad was not mad at me. My dad did not yell at me. He only wanted me to just feel supported and understand that when you make mistakes, you can get over those, you can get past those. And he and I worked together, and he invested time in me to help me understand that I could make up for that and I could repair it. And I remember we put a new bumper on the front of that Toyota pickup truck. And so whether it be, whatever the values are, be they, empathy or compassion or resilience, all of these values are important, and I've learned so much from my mom and dad about them, and I'm forever appreciative. And so I appreciate you asking that question and giving me a chance to talk about that. Now, if it's okay, I need to get back to my practice.
What's a funny memory you have from your parents?
A funny memory I have from my parents' marriage is I remember, it's maybe one of my earliest memories, on Ibis Street. I came into their bedroom and Dad was putting on his socks. Mom was kind of hanging around doing something else. And I said, "Well, Dad, where are you going?" And Dad said, "Well, Marcy, I'm going to go marry a girl." And that was a little confusing for a young child. And I remember kind of getting a lump in my throat and asking very sincerely, "Well, then what happens to Mom?" And then I remember you guys both laughing and thinking how cute that was. It was a sincere question on my part, but it was very quickly explained to me that you were just going to be the pastor marrying a couple, not you literally marrying a girl. So that was definitely a memory I have of your past as far as a couple. And I would say this, that definitely I have seen throughout growing up,
Mom and Dad both have such different strengths, such different abilities, and that they've always complemented each other very well. So where one is creative, Dad is kind of, I mean, not that Mom's not creative, but Dad's kind of a creative type. Mom's like get it done kind of a gal. So just in anything that you approach together, you have always worked so well together. So that is definitely some memories I have of your marriage. Happy 65th.
Happy 65th.
Happy 65th anniversary.
Hey, happy 65th.
Happy 65th.
Happy 65th.
Happy 65th.
Happy 65th.
Happy 65th.
Yeah. 6'6" stood on the ground, weighed 235 pounds. But I saw the giant of a man walk down to his knees by the the kind of man to gamble on luck, look you in the eye and never back up. But I saw him crying like a little whip because of love. Can't see it with your eyes, hold it in your hand, like the wind that covers our land, strong enough to rule the heart of any man. This thing called love. It can lift you up, it can put you down, take your world and turn it around. Ever since time, nothing's ever been found stronger than love. Some men are like me, they worry and doubt, trouble their mind day in and day out, too busy with their living to worry about a thing called love. To see a mother's tenderness as she holds her young close to her breast, then I think, my God, this world was blessed with a thing called love. Can't see it with your eyes, hold it in your hand, like the wind that covers our land, strong enough to rule the heart of any man. This thing called love. Take your world and turn it all around. Ever since time, nothing's ever been found stronger than love.